Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It is June 28th, 2024, and a very nice, comfortable day across Long Island today. And mostly sunny skies, except for a couple of wisps of jet junk and cirrus throughout the day. Unfortunately, we did have some of that around. You could see I was in the pines, but you could see there was a little bit of it right there. So it wasn't completely clear, but it was very comfortable, very, very low humidity, very comfortable conditions out there. A very nice day indeed. And hopefully you got a chance to get outside and enjoy it, because this weekend is not looking quite as pretty as today was. So let's look at the satellite image here, and you'll see, actually, this doesn't even show the whole day. We kind of started off with this 120 frames. Jeez. Doesn't show the whole day. I got to go to 150? Really? All right. Jeez. I want to show the whole day. All right. Well, we got to 180 frames. All right. Here's the whole day. So we started off. You can see there's some of that cirrus, that jet junk, and then it kind of dissipated a little bit. Then we get a little more of it pop up from time to time. You can see a little bit very thin. Here you can sort of see it a little bit better as the day goes on here on this satellite image. You notice all these clouds coming in here from the west. That is what we're going to have to deal with this weekend. Warm fronts, more humidity, and chances for showers and thunderstorms. Not so much on Saturday, but Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. And Sunday could be a severe weather threat day as well. We can also look at the MODIS satellite, and you can see it doesn't really even show up there were very, very few clouds today. So it was pretty nice, and I'm glad I did make it to the Pines. I would have liked to have made it a little further east, but we did make it there. To go somewhere at least. You could see, there's one right there. It shows up. They're very faint, hard to pick up on the satellite. Look at this algae bloom here. This is because of all the rain, believe it or not. They had to close some beaches. Look at that algae bloom. That's pretty amazing right there. That's showing up on the satellite pretty nice as well. So not just looking at weather on these satellites, sometimes you can look at other stuff too, which is pretty interesting as well. So let's look at our current conditions outside. Weather and hazards data viewer right here, and you'll see here that the temperatures are generally around 65 degrees, mid-60s. Most of you can actually turn off the air conditioner tonight, but not me. Not me. No, not me at all. It's still 70 in the alley, and in the common area of my building, when you walk up the stairs, still hot. 76, which is kind of warm. So, it's not great. Not great at all in this place. I got to keep the ACs running, and most of you can turn them off. I wish I could do that. I can't. I miss having a breeze. I miss being able to get fresh air. Dew points still low in the 50s. Take a look at that. You see the winds have shifted off to the south, southeast. We did have north to northeast winds to start the day, so I don't know why we're missing data here at iSlip. That's not good. But you'll see here that we had started the day with northeast winds, dew points in the 30s, very low humidity throughout the day, and then the wind shifted to the south, kind of brought the dew points back in the 40s, but still very comfortable, and they are still pretty comfortable today. So very comfortable day today, and unfortunately tomorrow it won't be like that. You can see there's already heat advisory for central parts of New Jersey, and that includes Ocean County for tomorrow. So we get the heat advisory. That is in effect for Sunday. So it's going to start heating up, unfortunately. So let's look at the highs today. And highs generally were only in the mid-70s across Long Island. We only did mid-70s today with sunshine. I mean, that's really, really nice across Suffolk County. A little closer to 80 in my area. 79 in the city, 79 at LaGuardia, 77 at JFK. 74 at West Hampton, and then you head over to Jersey, where 77 in Miller Air Park, west of Toms River. And it's more inland areas. You got into the 80s here. Yeah, look at that. Somehow, western central Jersey got into the mid 80s somehow. But most of us were only in the 70s, which is below normal. And it was nice with the sunshine too, having only 70s. So that sun is strong. Let me tell you, even if you're out there in the sun. In the middle of the day particularly, you're still going to feel plenty warm because we're in the June sun. It's pretty high in the sky. Lows got into the low 60s, it looks like. 55 at West Hampton, 61 at Islip, 64 at Central Park, and 59 at Miller Air Park. in Toms River. So let's pull this out a little. Let's go and look at what's going on across the country here. You'll see we got flood advisories for Pennsylvania, and then we got a lot of extreme heat warnings going on in the south here. It looks like these are all extreme heat warnings. That's in effect till 8 p.m. Saturday. So tomorrow looks like a very hot day in the Midwest. So we will have to do another weather update tomorrow night and talk about that. You can see it's still in the 80s there. Very, very warm. Look at these dew points. How about 88 degrees with a dew point of 77 at Fort Smith? No thanks. That's pretty warm, humid air right there. We have dew point. Look at this. 81 degree dew point on the Texas coast. 84, 81 degree dew point. That is unbelievable. That used to be very rare to see 81 degree dew points. Then we have tornado watch in Kansas and parts of, into Kansas. And you can see there's one tornado warning over there. And then I think that's Missouri. So we have tornado watch over there. Southwest, we've got this excessive heat watches now for California as well. So more heat is going to be on the way for these areas. But on our neck of the woods, not quite as crazy. You do have a small craft advisory in effect. But for the most part, we'll look at the highs across the country here to show you the warmer, more humid air that's going to be coming in. Now, we're not going to get into this extreme heat that they're dealing with here. Look at that. I got up to 97. Texas, near 100. Oh, my gosh. Hundreds in Texas, around Dallas. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's absolutely brutal right there. That's absolutely brutal. So you can see where the heat is. Luckily, we're not dealing with that. So let's go and look at the weather map here, and you'll see that high that brought us that nice day today is moving offshore. It sets up a return flow. We have a warm front that's going to be moving through and cranking the humidity up, especially as we get into Sunday. And that cold front will come on through Sunday afternoon and possibly bring us some severe weather. So let's look at the Storm Prediction Center. You see that slight risk that is in the Midwest there. Let's move this to tomorrow and see what happens. Look at that slight risk. It moves a little closer to our area. So this is the first wave of energy that's going to come through, mainly going to be west of us. So mostly maybe northwestern New Jersey and most of Pennsylvania and Ohio. But look what happens when we move to day 3. We're in the slight risk again for Sunday. So Sunday could be a very active day ahead of this cold front. So that's our next chance for some severe weather right now. So I'm going to move this along. You'll see what happens. You see the warm front comes through tomorrow, and then the cold front comes through on Sunday. And that's going to trigger some that round of severe weather that we could have another shot at some severe weather across our area. And this one's going to happen a little more earlier on. Part of the reason I'm later is because I want to get the latest NAM model so we can look at this. Though I will probably have to do a weather update tomorrow night because of everything going on. So won't be able to take Saturday off because we have just too much going on. You can see tropical activity. We got TD2, another one here. So we've got a decent amount going on here, and we're gonna have to watch this. Not going to discuss it in this weather update. Let's go to the climatology for today. So ice slip at a high of 74 and a low of 60. 7 degrees below normal on the high, 6 degrees below normal for the day. You can see only 2.43 inches of rain, so we still have to make up about a 1.37 inch deficit. Central Park got up to 79 and a low of 64, 4 degrees below normal for the day, and they still have a big deficit to make up. They only had 1.47 inches. They're supposed to see 4.28. So will we make it up? It's probably not. I don't think we're going to be able to make it up completely, but hopefully we can make up a little more of it over the weekend with some of these thunderstorms, hopefully. So let's go look at the models now and take a look at what we have. So you see that high right there. That's going to be moving away, and that's going to be bringing in the humidity tomorrow. You'll see that humidity come in, and then we have this cold front that comes on through. Well, actually, this is actually a little like prefrontal thing. Maybe it's a series of cold fronts. I'm not sure, but it might be more of a warm front than anything else because the secondary cold front moves through. Sunday night into Monday. And, of course, trying to develop a wave along it. High pressure builds in on Monday. That'll be the first day of July, Monday. July should start off nice, but then it's going to start heating up again. And I'm not going to talk about that now. I'll talk about that Sunday night probably, depending on what happens to the severe weather, of course, because we may have a lot to talk about then. So let's go start off with the HRRR, and we'll start off looking at the dew points and wind flow to start, and we'll go over everything else. So you'll see that dry air starts to retreat tomorrow. We have southeast winds. With that southerly flow, it should keep temperatures fair. It shouldn't get too warm tomorrow. Even in Jersey, it looks like it's showing more of a south-southeast component, so it should be anywhere along the coast. Shouldn't be too hot tomorrow. Just going to, you see the humidity coming up. And then you see what happens. The winds shift more to the southwest on Sunday. Look at these dew points, folks. Sunday is going to be brutal. Dew points up near 70, mid-70s. And then you have this front coming in toward the evening. And this is where I have some big concerns about severe weather, because we have much cooler, dry air in the back, and we have a big boundary here between these two air masses. You can see southwest winds here, so we may be getting quite the storm on Sunday night, perhaps, with this front. That looks like quite a little line there. That's you can see just the difference in the air masses. Let's go and look at the temperatures. Tonight, won't be dropping off as much as it did. Lows probably maybe 60 to 65. Still be cool, I guess, except, of course, in my hot hell. And then tomorrow you'll see that along the coast, Long Island, low 80s probably is going to do it. If you're in New Jersey, away from the water, you might see mid to upper 80s. But I still think that if you're by the shore, even in Ocean County, it should be some relief. But if you're west of the Parkway, it'll probably still be hot, I guess. And then not cooling off that much tomorrow night, obviously. Got the humidity. And then for Sunday, doesn't show it that hot. It doesn't show it that hot, so I'm thinking that this model seems to have a lot of cloud cover if the temperature's not that hot on Sunday, because the humidity is going to be very high with that front. It probably is showing plenty of cloud cover, so I'm going to just, well, we're just going to have to, I'm guessing that's what it is. Because this model, I can't look at the cloud cover. We will have a lot more cloud cover this weekend. So let's go and look at the precipitation. Now, we're dry for most of tomorrow, and then tomorrow night is when we got to worry about this line here. And this line could get into our area perhaps as much as 10, 11 o'clock at night. Showing it weakening, but who knows? It may very well may not weaken. And this will be the first round of thunderstorms that we're going to have to deal with tomorrow night. That moves out, and then we have another line that could move through on Sunday. You can see that actually developing a series of lines. Here's another one that comes through in the afternoon and the evening. So this is what we're going to have to watch for here, are these thunderstorms that could be coming in, and we could see some severe weather from these storms here. A little bit of a V to that front as well. Let's look at the GFS, and I'm going to change this to the radar setting. All right, I know this is a low-resolution model, but you can see it pretty much echoes the HRRR pretty much. All right. Now, cloud cover. I'm going to use this model because the resolution's so low, I'm not even going to bother at this point. What we can do is look at the NAM3, so let's go to that. That'll be the next one. We have the 0Z NAM3 out to 42 hours. All right. So tomorrow, we're dry for the most part. Maybe an isolated sprinkle or something, but I think we're dry for the most part. Not until later at night. And the NAM just... Now, the last run of the NAM was so impressive Saturday night. Well, let's just look at the 18Z run. Actually, it wasn't. All right. It must have been the 12Z run that was impressive. One of those runs was... Yeah, this run was a little more impressive. All right. But it seems like it's dialing back the thunderstorm activity that we'll see Saturday night. So Saturday night should be okay, I think. It's Sunday that we got to worry about. Okay, here we go. There's some stuff developing in the morning, and then this is as far as I've got on this model here on this run. The 18Z will take us through a little later Sunday, and you see what it does develop a line, though. Again, it doesn't look all that impressive. It doesn't get it going until... I don't know if I believe this, all right? Because, again, if you go to the 12Z run, it had a decent line. You can see that right there. So I wouldn't write this off just yet. It's just with that kind of humid air mass around, and the way the atmosphere looks, I think the models might be underestimating this thunderstorm activity a little bit. Yes, the low is way up in Maine, but that doesn't mean anything. We still have a big contrast in air masses and a good trigger for severe thunderstorms. And I think that we'll see some. If not late Saturday night, I think it'll be more Sunday night. All right. Obviously, the NAM not looking terribly impressive here on this thunderstorm activity. Let's go and look at another model, the HDRPS, which, of course, is an experimental, not really an official model, but you can see, look at this. Look at what it's doing in Pennsylvania for tomorrow. Then it kind of peters it out as it gets out toward us, as you see there. RGEM, let's look at that one. RGEM holds it together for us a little more. So RGEM does give us some rain in the morning, and then another round would be in the afternoon. You can see that right there. And speaking of that, we'll go look at the skies here on the RGEM. This is the 18Z run of the RGEM. You can see plenty of clouds around tomorrow. There'll be plenty of cirrus, maybe a little heavily filtered sunshine. It won't be all that sunny. And Sunday looks like plenty of clouds as well. Though maybe in the afternoon, the sun might just come out just ahead of that next round. That could help to stabilize things a little bit. Then on Monday we have improving conditions. But yeah, that's definitely something. So this will have to be watched, the severe weather threat, obviously. But right now, just kind of too early to tell. But we will show you again this front. So as it comes through, you can see improving conditions for Monday. And definitely nice for Tuesday. Dew points maybe not quite as low as they were today, but it should be a decent amount of sunshine, and highs tend to be cooler. So you'll see that as we get toward Monday. No real crazy heat. All right, starts heating up a little more toward Tuesday. We start seeing some mid-80s, which is probably normal for this time of year. And then just a peak at July 4th here. Things will start heating up as we get toward July 4th. You see that, though. Nothing crazy on the GFS here. This is the 18Z run of the GFS. If we go to the 12Z, maybe it's a little bit hotter, but nothing crazy. If you want the crazy heat again, you got to go to the south, because this is where they're going to be dealing with some pretty ridiculous conditions in the south central. So here's the GFS for tomorrow, and you'll see here. Look at how hot it gets here. So yeah, look at that. So that's why they got the temperatures pretty much around 100 degrees in Texas, Louisiana. This whole area here is going to be sweltering. I don't want to do that. And the thing is, it's going to be humid, too. I don't think they can even get any relief on Sunday. It gets pushed down a little bit, and that could trigger some pretty nasty thunderstorms. Yeah, look at that. How Oklahoma's dealing with it, too, so this whole area. And if we look at the dew points here, yeah, those dew points are pretty high. So all this air is coming from the Gulf. So if we take this all out and look at the CONUS view, you see what's going on here. We got this big wave of, we had this nice little cool down in the northeast, but then we get this humid air that comes in, and we have to deal with that on the weekend before things cool off again. But at least we'll have to deal with it for just a couple of days, and it won't be all that bad. I just look at the 700 to 300 humidity here. I like looking at this too. This is a good way of kind of judging where the moisture is, though this doesn't really work as well. This works better in the winter, I think, than now. But you see that there is some. It's actually showing brown over here, even though there's a lot of humidity. But you can see there's more of it over here. So this one means this tool doesn't really work as well. But let's just look at the tropics for a moment here, because I'm not going to be covering it this weekend. So let's go to the Atlantic here. Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, go to the North Atlantic. Let's go over here. We'll go look at the surface. So you see you got these big ridge here. So these are these tropical waves here that you see here. I'm just kind of curious to see what the GFS does with them. It does strengthen these. Look at that. It does strengthen. Very interesting to see Cape Verde, these kind of systems already forming, and it's just barely July at this point. So very concerning at this point here. And you see you got that big ridge. And, yeah, that's definitely a problem. And we'll have to watch this closely, obviously, to see what happens. We're a ways out from anything at this point. But you see, not surprisingly, that we're seeing, look at that huge high in the Atlantic. That's huge. That's a huge ridge in the Atlantic. So that's going to keep any storm from, it's going to kind of just push them into the Gulf at this point. So the Gulf is going to have to really be concerned right now with anything that comes in over here, Gulf or possibly Florida. So yeah, you'll have to just keep an eye on it, I guess. We could go to one more thing I guess we could do here, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's do current storms. Oh, well, what do you know? It looks like Beryl has just formed. Right where we were doing this weather update. It doesn't have Beryl here, so why is it saying Tropical Storm Beryl? It's still saying Tropical Storm. Which one is Beryl here? This definitely looks like a tropical storm. That's Beryl right there. Is that a Pacific storm? That's already going. Where's that at? No, this is Beryl. So apparently this would be TD2. TD2 has already developed into Beryl. I don't know why we're not getting the latest information on that. It says tropical expected to reach a hurricane as it approaches. So yeah, this would be Beryl. So Beryl is formed pretty much. They haven't labeled it as Beryl, but this is a tropical storm right here. Look at that satellite image. You can see. Look at all that convection. Very healthy. Definitely going to see some intensification on this for sure, and it's going to probably become a hurricane in no time. This is the map right here, so you can see where it's going to go, and it's going to go. It looks like it's heading for the Gulf at this point. This could become a powerful hurricane, hitting the Leeward Islands and possibly Jamaica. So this will have to be watched. We have a very active hurricane season. It's just getting started. I was surprised with all those warm waters. We can look at the intensity guidance and look. Some of them take it up to a Cat 4 or Cat 3. I'm not surprised with that big ridge there and all that warm water in the Atlantic. I'm not surprised at all. And you see where most of the models take it toward the Gulf, and this could be a problem for the Gulf right now at this point. Let's go and look at the SSTs, and then I'm going to wrap this up here. So just to show you all the warm water that these storms have to work with here. So sea surface temperature anomaly. Look at all that warm water there. Plenty of warm water to work with. These storms really have a lot of energy here. The whole Atlantic is just very, very warm, and that's a concern for all of us. You want to be off the bottom. Look at that nice cold pool over there they got over there. The Pacific, they got a cold pool too, which helps protect them. But we don't have that at all off the East Coast too. Very, very warm water temperatures. All very concerning. And this could be the year we're going to see a lot of devastating hurricanes and tropical storms. So anyway, have a good night, and I'll be back tomorrow night. We have to, because we could be watching some more severe weather. Have a good night.